As we head into Memorial Day weekend, some families are planning a trip to SeaWorld. The local attraction once again is seeing big crowds after reporting a turnaround in attendance after a double-digit decline in 2017. We're talking about that and other headline-making news for the Friday Business Report. And joining us this week is George Belch. He's the Senior Associate Dean of the College of Business at SDSU. Welcome.
Thank you.
So how was SeaWorld able to make this big turnaround?
Well, first of all, let's recognize SeaWorld had a lot of challenges. The Blackfish documentary came out in 2013, created a lot of negative publicity for them. The controversy lingered for a long time. In many ways, the San Diego SeaWorld location was hurt more than anyone. I think perhaps more environmentally and socially conscious in California, but they really had to address that, and they have. They've made changes. They've gotten rid of the live orca shows. They're not breeding them in captivity anymore. They focused a lot on the great things that SeaWorld does in terms of animal rescue and some of the marine programs that they have. I think they addressed the controversy head on. They had a marketing campaign, SeaWorld Cares, where they really focused on a lot of things. But that's been going on for years. The more recent things, I think they've added new attractions. You now have the Tumbler roller coaster. You have the Sesame Street Party Parade. And anytime you can add new attractions to a theme park like you have at SeaWorld, just as Disney's now adding Star Wars and other things, that's going to give people another reason to come.
So moving on, thanks to a unanimous city council vote, the campus at Horton Plaza project is set to move forward, transforming Horton Plaza Mall into a tech hub. In fact, just this week, I got a chance to speak to a project advisor about the significance of the vote and more about the plans.
The council got behind the effort to not let this building just rot to the ground. We've got a whole lot to live. We've been building tens of thousands of units in downtown. We've got a gas lamp, a Little Italy, a waterfront. We've got a lot of play, but we really haven't been creating any jobs in this sector for decades.
So George, of course the team behind this project thinks it's great for San Diego, but does it have the potential to revitalize downtown San Diego?
The new project, I think, clearly does. But let's back up a little bit. Horton Plaza started, in many ways, a revitalization. And let's give it its respect and the due that it deserves. It came in 1985. It was very unique. It was innovative. It helped give people a reason to come downtown. That said, the revitalizations kept going with the gas lamp corridor. It kept going with the Petco Park, the revitalization of the East Village, the new hotels, the restaurants. So it has been going forward. However, I don't think it was going to keep going forward for Horton Plaza. Unfortunately, the retail landscape has changed dramatically. Malls across the country are struggling. Retail is struggling. They're now competing against Amazon, which online sales are pushing close to 20% of overall sales now in the US. This year, retailers will close over 6,000 stores. They will only open about 2,500. That negative net is working against them. In many cases, the stores you would like to have at Horton Plaza aren't going to be there unless they can show tremendous sales per square foot. They've lost major anchor tenants like Nordstrom's. So I just don't think Horton Plaza was going to be able to recover. So deciding what to do with that space, this new tech center, I think is a very smart move.
And finally, some scary news for millennials. The Wall Street Journal is reporting that as millennials enter middle age, they're in worse financial shape than the generations before, including baby boomers and Gen Xers. So what are the factors causing this?
I'm glad you started out by saying some scary news, because I couldn't agree more. Yeah. This is scary. I've read the Wall Street Journal article and other articles about millennials, and we have a problem with income disparity in this country. We know it, but I think we often think about it at the extremes. But we have a group kind of in the middle that's suffering as well. This is a generation, a age cohort that's the most educated of all. They have higher levels of education than baby boomers or the Gen Xers who preceded them. But the fact is, they came into the job market at a difficult time. A lot of them entered the job market around 2008, 2009 when the Great Recession was hitting, and it took a while. We have to remember, during that Great Recession, unemployment was 14%. It just went below 4%. We have to reflect on how bad things were. They came out of school, a lot of them with a lot of debt that they're trying to pay down. So they're up against the wall in terms of trying to make it economically. And in many cases, even the jobs that they're getting aren't necessarily paying enough to allow them to keep up.
Hate to end on that sour note, but that wraps up this week's Friday Business Report, and thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.